Did you know that EEI Tech Hiring Assessment Test isn't just about what you know? It's about how well you can apply problem-solving, reasoning, and mechanical skills under time pressure. Hi, this is Vadim from Online Training for Everyone, and in this video, I'm excited to share with you 10 practice questions specifically designed to help you prepare for the EEI Tech Hiring Assessment Test. My humble advice for you to prepare and succeed: stay focused, try all 10 questions yourself, and use this opportunity to strengthen the key skills needed to excel in the test day. Let's dive in and get started. Guess what? Practicing often can unlock smarter thinking and sharper skills. Take this question as an opportunity to strengthen your cognitive superpowers. You're presented with cool-looking shape. First row in the shape has numbers 2, 3, and 5. Second row has numbers 1, 3, 4, and 7. And then the third row has numbers 2, 1, 3, 4, and then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 6, choice B, 7, choice C, 8, and choice D, 9. And just like on a real test, I'll set a timer for you to solve this. Make sure you lock in your answer before timer is up. Let's begin. Time's up. Have you locked in your answer? Now let's go through the solution together. You'll be amazed how simple and logical it is to follow. The first thing you need to do to solve these types of problems is to detect the pattern. And the pattern here is extremely simple. Next number in the same row is calculated as the sum of previous two numbers. Let's look at the example. We will start with the row 1. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Let's switch to the second row. 1 plus 3 equals 4. And 3 plus 4 equals 7. Let's move to the third row. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 1 plus 3 equals 4. And you know what time it is now, right? It's the magic time to calculate the missing number. 3 plus 4 equals 7. And the correct answer here is choice B, 7. Imagine this. Practicing regularly on this channel can make you smarter and sharpen your cognitive skills. In this question, get ready to level up your visualization abilities. You're presented with extremely cool-looking hexagon. Well, it's hexagon on the outside. On the inside, it is much more complicated shape. Your goal is to look at the shape very closely and identify how many triangles does it contain. Your choices for the answers are choice A, 11, choice B, 12, choice C, 13, and choice D, 14. And here's the caveat. Just like on the real test, I'll set a timer for you to solve it. Let's begin. Time's up. Have you locked in your answer? Great. Let's go through the solution together. You'll be amazed how simple and easy it is to follow. Let's start by developing an approach which would be useful in other similar questions as well. Our approach will consist of 5 simple steps. In step 1, we would need to identify all smallest and simplest triangles. Let me show them to you in the upper part of the shape, 1 and 2. In step 2, we need to look for larger triangles which contains crossing lines inside. And we need to count those as well. Here's the example of such a triangle. Step 3 is probably the most important. We need to make sure that we avoid overlapping counts to ensure that we don't count the same triangle multiple times. And believe me, it is very easy to do. In step 4, let's do a systematic check to make sure no triangles is missed. And in step 5, let's double check ourselves. After counting, let's go back to the figure to confirm that total matches and no triangles were overlooked. So, how many triangles did you count? Well, let me do count in front of you, so you will see my results, and then we'll compare with yours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Did you get to the same number? If not, please make sure to post your number in comments. But my answer for this question is choice A, 11. But wait, are you ready to practice your skills? Try this question to see how you would do. You're presented with amazingly cool-looking hexagon, and your goal is to count all triangles you see in this shape. Let me show you 3 triangles here in this shape to make sure you're not confused. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Your choices for the answers are choice A, 19, choice B 14, choice C 15, and choice D 16. And once you're confident in your answer, post it in comments and I'll share my feedback. Good luck with this fun challenge. Here's a fun fact. Consistent practice isn't just about discipline. It's a ticket to smarter thinking and better cognitive skills. Let's dive into this question to power up your visualization game and learn a little bit about product marketing at the same time. As part of smartwatch product design, features review ensures water resistance and a 10-day battery life, while design review focuses on the style and presentation. Based on the workflow diagram presented, what potential risk might arise if design review phase is skipped during smartwatch product development? Your choices for the answers are choice A, smartwatch lacks expected style. Choice B, product loses market uniqueness. Choice C, feature schedules get delayed. And choice D, perfect balance and creativity. And just like an Excel test, I'll set a timer for you to solve this. Let's begin. Time's up. Have you locked in your answer? Now let's go through the solution together, and you will be amazed how simple and logical it is to follow. The most important thing in answering this question is to understand the process flow diagram. It starts with brainstorming idea. This is how typical product design starts. Then there's a features review, then there's a design review, and then, based on the diagram, there's a check. Is it release ready? If the answer is yes, it goes to the product launch phase. And if the answer is no, it goes back to the brainstorming ideas. Obviously, it's an extremely simplified version of product design, but it gives us an idea of what's going to happen. In this question, we are asked, what if we remove one of the steps, specifically design review step from this process? When you make a change, there are typically trade-offs. So what are the benefits of skipping the design review? Number one, it's the faster development timeline. It saves time by skipping a phase. Second one is lower initial costs. By skipping a design review, we reduce the immediate expenses for design evaluation. Well, since it's a trade-off with the benefits, we also have risks. And the biggest risk in this case would be lack of uniqueness. Product may fail to stand out. And the second biggest risk would be poor customer appeal. Style and presentation may suffer. Knowing this, let's look at the answer choices to determine which ones are incorrect. Choice A, smartwatch lacks expected style. This option actually oversimplifies the issue. And the greater consequence here is not just missing style, but also the failure to differentiate the product, which is crucial for marketing and consumer appeal. Choice C is incorrect because it's not related to the design review. Choice D is also incorrect because skipping the design review would not result in a perfect balance of functionality and creativity. The design review is crucial for ensuring that the smartwatch is not only functional, but also appealing and marketable. And skipping this step risks the product blending into the competition due to the lack of unique design elements. This is why the correct answer here is choice B, product loses market uniqueness. This is one of the most exciting questions because it allows you to test your analytical skills and understanding of physics. You need to determine which fan throws more air if all the fans rotate at the same speed. The choices are fan A, fan B, fan C, and last but not least, choice D, neither fan. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. Are you ready? I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. As you might be well aware, there are two key factors to help determine the airflow rate. The first one is the size of the fan's blade, and the second one is rotational speed of the fan, which is measured in RPMs, which stands for revolution per minute. A fan with the larger blades can capture and move more air per revolution compared to the same fan design with the smaller blades. And this is exactly what we're dealing with here in this question. In addition, the rotational speed of the fan affects the airflow design. The higher RPM generally results in a higher airflow rate as the fan blades are able to move through the air at the faster rate. As you can see here, the fans A, B, and C all have the same design. This is why, given the fact that 3 fans have the same design but different sizes, the fan with the largest size will throw more air compared to the smaller fans. This is why the correct answer here is choice C. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please share your answer and rationale in comments. You would have to agree that solving this particular problem is like baking a cake. It requires the right ingredients, a bit of precision, and the end result is pretty sweet. I think that looking at each test question this way would be like looking at baking a piece of mosaic of your knowledge, contributing to the bigger picture of your abilities. In this question, you're presented with the set of gears, and you need to determine the direction of the last gear. Your choices for answers are choice A, CW, choice B, CCW, choice C, no movement, and last but not least, choice D, depends on X. Feeling challenged by this question? I totally understand. Remember though, that you are not navigating this path alone. Whether you're a problem-solving expert or a newcomer, I have full faith in your capabilities. Take a moment to gather your thoughts, tap into your imaginative side, and let's triumph over this challenge together. Your solution is almost ready and is definitely within reach. Are you ready with your solution? I hope you are, so let's move forward and compare our versions of the answer. Together, we will unravel the complexities of this assessment test question. I'll ask you for a favor though, and specifically to share your thought process in comments. Your insights might hold the key for all of us to learn and improve. To solve this question, we need to identify which gear is the input, which one is connected to the power source, and which one is the output gear, the final gear that performs the desired task. In the next step, we need to identify the direction of rotation for each gear. Gears can rotate clockwise. This is where abbreviation CW comes from, or counterclockwise. This is what CCW stands for. Let's solve this challenge by following the transfer of rotation from one gear to another. Our first input gear is rotating in clockwise direction. As you might be well aware, when rotation is transferred to another gear, it will be rotated in the opposite direction, which would be counterclockwise. Let's follow the directions for each gear. Input 1 is clockwise, then counterclockwise, clockwise again, counterclockwise again, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, and the output gear is rotating in clockwise direction. Let me show you alternative way how you can solve it faster. For example, if the number of gears in between input and output is odd, the last gear will rotate in the same direction as input gear. On the other hand, if the number of gears is even, the last gear will rotate in the opposite direction from the first gear. Let's look at the example. Let's look at the odd number of gears. The simplest odd number is 1. The rotations transferred from input clockwise to the next gear counterclockwise, and then to the output, which would be clockwise again. On the other hand, if there is an even number of gears in between input and output, and the smallest even number is 2, you see how rotation converges from input clockwise to the opposite to input counterclockwise at the output gear. With this in mind, let's solve this challenge alternative way. Let's count number of gears in between input and output. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gears. And since there are 7 gears in between input and output gears, which is odd number, the direction of output gear will be the same as the direction of the input gear. So the correct answer here is choice A, CW, clockwise. Well, you can't argue with the author, Roy T. Bennett, who once wrote, "The only limits you have are the limits you believe." So let's approach this question with the mindset of unlimited potential, refusing to be constrained by self-imposed limitations. You're presented with the seesaw diagram, and you need to determine based on diagram how much force must be applied at X to balance the seesaw. Your choices are choice A, 4F, choice B, 2F, choice C, F divided by 2, and last but not least, choice D, F divided by 4. I might know what you're about to say about difficulty of this question, but remember, facing a challenging question on the assessment test can feel daunting, but every obstacle is an opportunity for your growth. take a moment to gather your thoughts, trust in your abilities, and approach this question with determination and resilience. Together, we will navigate through this challenge and emerge stronger on the other side. Time's up. Are you ready with your answer? Whatever answer you chose, remember, learning through trying and making mistakes is a fundamental process where you actively engage in attempting to do something new or challenging. We encourage and embrace mistakes on this YouTube channel because when you make mistakes, you gain insights and understand what doesn't work, which guides your future attempts. This hands-on experience and the lessons learned from the errors are crucial for you mastering new skills and knowledge. To answer this question, we need to understand how to balance the seesaw. And to balance it, you need to apply the same force on both sides at the same distances. For example, force F on the left is equals to force F on the right, which makes seesaw to balance. Let's look at other important components to better understand the question. For example, we have a pivot which is in the middle, and the distances which are represented by the letter A in this particular diagram. Are you interested to learn about the most common mistakes people make answering this question? I think you should be. And the most common mistake is forgetting to account for force and distance to make sure they are in equilibrium. What does it mean? If you change the weight of the objects on the seesaw, or if you change the distance, the balance of the seesaw will change as well. In fact, the closer we move to the pivot, the more force we would have to apply to balance, which means that we should use heavier objects to reach the equilibrium. For example, if we have two boxes on the seesaw, one heavier than the other, you would need to move heavier box closer to the pivot to balance the seesaw. Mathematically speaking, to balance the seesaw, the sum of clockwise movements must be equal to the sum of anti-clockwise movements. Let's build the equation to help solve this challenge. F multiplied by A would be equal X multiplied by A divided by 2. So to solve it, X would be equal to F. So the correct answer here is choice B, 2F. To get us on the right track with this question and help you solve it, I would like to quote Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. So let's approach this assessment test question with determination and perseverance, recognizing that each obstacle we overcome brings us closer to success. You're presented with 3 buckets. Buckets are hanging from the strings, and you need to determine which bucket is the heaviest if all buckets are fixed to equal lengths flexible string. You have 4 choices. Choices are A, B, C, and last but not least, choice D, neither. The only thing obvious here is that this question may seem daunting at first, but I know you have the skills and creativity to tackle it. Trust in your abilities, and let's explore all possible solutions together. Let's tackle it as a team. Are you ready to show your answer? I have no doubts that together we will decode this tough question. And I hope you did give it a try. Remember that every attempt, regardless of the outcome, contributes to your growth and development. To get to the answer, let's first look at the question in more details. We have 3 buckets. Each bucket is connected to the string connectors with the string of the same length. All string connectors are on the same string line. And what we can visually see is that bucket A is in the highest position, bucket B is a little bit lower, and the bucket C is in the lowest position. What does it tell us? What we know from physics is that when multiple objects are suspended from the flexible string, they will settle into the state of equilibrium. In the state of equilibrium, the tension in the string will be equal at all points along its length. However, due to the differences in weight, the heavier bucket will exert a greater downward force on the string compared to the lighter buckets. As a result, the heavier bucket will cause more tension in the string, causing it to sag lower compared to the lighter buckets. This visual cue of the lower position of the bucket C can give you an impression that the bucket C is heavier, even though it may or may not be the case in the reality. But here's the caveat. This would only be true if the distance between string connectors would be the same. This introduces another consideration here, because distance A for the bucket A is greater than distance B, which is greater than distance C for the bucket C. Because the distance shortens between the string connectors, and distance A is greater than distance B, which is greater than distance C, this might explain why bucket B and bucket C is lower still. But it becomes obvious that because the distance between connector shortening, it's impossible to determine which bucket is the heaviest, since shortening of the distance from A to C can explain lower positioning of the bucket, even if buckets would have the same weight. Think about it, because it's very logical. Even if the buckets would be of the same weight, by shortening the distance between string connectors, you will be able to lower the bucket. Based on this, I can conclude that the correct answer here is choice D, neither. But this question is not as obvious. Do you have different considerations? Please make sure to share your thoughts and rationale in comments so we can all learn. To solve this question, we need to remember the spirit of Oprah Winfrey, who famously said, "Challenges are gifts that force us to search for the new center of gravity. Don't fight them. Just find a new way to stand." Let's embrace the challenge presented in this question, viewing them as opportunities to discover innovative solutions and approaches. You need to determine how submerged pencil will look in the glass of water. You're presented with 3 visual choices. Choices A, B, and C. And then there's the last choice D, neither. Do you think you know the answer? Well, just like a lot of things in life, this question may not be the easiest to solve. But I have full confidence that you have all the required skills and creativity to tackle it. And I know that you definitely will give it a try by pausing this video. Trust in your abilities, and let's explore all possible options together. Let's tackle this problem as a team. Ready to show your answer? I truly hope your answer is correct. But remember that regardless of being correct or not, every attempt, regardless of the outcome, contributes to your personal growth and development. What's cool about this question is that it gives us the opportunity to refresh our knowledge in the concept called refraction. When you put pencil through the water surface, going from substance of air into the substance of water, the light rays passing through the water are reaching your eyes and they undergo the refraction. Transition from air to water causes the angle of incidence to decrease, leading to a change in the angle of refraction, which bends the pencil's appearance due to the differences in refractive indices of air and water. Refraction can cause the pencil to appear bent or broken at the water surface, and to create optical illusions that affect our perception of objects. But what we know for sure is that it's definitely not going to look just like a regular pencil submerged. If you don't believe me, just try this easy-to-conduct experiment for yourself, which means that the correct answer here is choice B. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. I think this question is not just about engineering, but also about your critical thinking and analytical skills. If you use the same bow to shoot arrows at angles of 45 degrees, 0 degrees, and 60 degrees, which angle will make the arrow travel the farthest? You have 4 possible choices. Choice A, 45 degrees. Choice B, 0 degrees. Choice C, 60 degrees. And last but not least, choice D, neither one. Take a close look to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I am moving forward to share with you my version of the analysis and answer, and obviously if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. Let's start by looking at the scenario where we shoot the arrow at 0 degrees, which ultimately means horizontal shot. When you shoot it at 0 degrees, it means you're firing it horizontally, parallel to the ground. In this case, the arrow initial velocity is responsible for its horizontal distance because there is no vertical component in its motion. What's interesting here is that the arrow will cover some horizontal distance, but it won't travel very far because gravity starts acting on it immediately, pulling it downward. Now let's compare it to shooting an arrow at a 60-degree angle. This means we are launching it at a steeper angle upward compared with even 45-degree angle. What's interesting in this case is that while it still have a horizontal component, more of its initial velocity is directed upward. As a result, the arrow will reach a greater height but cover less horizontal distance before it hits the ground. Which brings us to the 45-degree angle solution. If you want to make sure your arrow reach farthest horizontal distance, you should shoot it at a 45-degree angle. 45-degree angle allows for the best balance between horizontal and vertical components of an arrow's motion, maximizing its range. So the correct answer here is choice B, 45 degrees. Did you get to the same answer? If not, please make sure to share your thoughts and rationale in comments so we can all learn. Here's an amazing question which tests your knowledge of objects, their properties, and the way they move from the top of the hill down to the ground. You're presented with 3 different objects, and you need to determine which object will reach ground first when pushed to slide from the top of the hill. You have 4 possible choices to select from. Choice A, wheel. Choice B, wooden box. Choice C, sticky substance. And last but not least, choice D, they all reach the ground at the same time. Take a close look, maybe pause this video to see if you can come up with the answer. On my end, I have my selection, so I'm moving forward to share with you my version of the answer. And obviously, if you have a better way to solve it, please make sure to post in comments. To determine the answer, let's look at each object individually. This will help us decide all the considerations related to their sliding from the top of the hill down to the ground. Let's start with the cube. Cube's shape may cause it to experience higher levels of friction against the slide, slowing its descent. But at the same time, sticky substance may move even slower, because the behavior of sticky substance will largely depend on its viscosity and adhesive properties. If the substance is highly viscous and adheres strongly to the slide, it may experience significant resistance and it will take much longer for it to reach the ground. In some scenarios, depending upon viscosity, the sticky substance may never reach the ground at all. Based on this, I think most likely sticky substance will be the slowest in reaching down the bottom of the slide, followed by the cube, which would be second in sliding down. So, as you might have guessed, I am putting my bets on the wheel. I think wheel's rolling motion will help reduce friction with the slide, allowing wheel to move more smoothly. This is why the wheel may reach the ground faster than all other objects. This is why I think the correct answer is choice A, wheel, because the wheel will roll and will have minimum friction to reach the ground. Did you come to the different conclusion? If yes, please make sure to post your answer, solution, and rationale in comments so we can all learn. But wait, are you ready to practice your skills? Try this question to see how you would do. You're presented with cool-looking shape. First row of the shape has numbers 1, 2, and 3. See the pattern here? Second row has numbers 1, 4, 5, and 9. And the third row has numbers 1, 3, 4, 7. And then comes the missing number, which you need to calculate and select your answer out of 4 possible choices. Choice A, 8. Choice B, 9. Choice C, 10. And choice D, 11. When you're confident in your answer, post it in comments and I'll share my feedback. Good luck with this fun challenge. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you for helping us to become one of the largest YouTube channels to help people become smarter, increase your IQ, and to pass any test. If the content of this video was helpful, please make sure to click the like button to help YouTube algorithm promote this video and help other people to find it faster. Giving us a like is also a way for you to tell us that you need more content like this, and when you tell us, we will deliver it for you in the future. For links to free and premium resources, please check the description and comments of this video. You can also go directly to our website, howtoanalyzedata.net, to download the materials related to this topic. I really appreciate your endorsement, support, and patronage of this channel. And thank you for considering to become a member and considering to subscribe. Please leave feedback, suggestions, or corrections in comments. And all the best on your journey. I'll see you in my next video.